All right, everybody, welcome to What's Cooking with Rochelle. Today we are making biscotti. Yummy! If you like coffee, I like coffee. Sometimes I have too much coffee, but not today. Today we are going to make biscotti to go with coffee, tea. It's the reason we usually eat it with that is that it is dried. We twice bake biscotti. It makes it a crunchy, not soft type of pastry bread. And so to get started, we're going to make our loaf today with cranberries and pistachios. Feel free to sub out or change some stuff. I'll show you what to do as we go along. We're going to mix all our wet ingredients together first. So we have here a 1/4 cup of olive oil. You do want to use a decent olive oil. To that, we are adding a 1/2 cup of white sugar. And we are going to give this a whisk. Excellent. To this, I am adding a tablespoon of vanilla. So this is the first change. If you are using almonds as your nut versus pistachios, you want to do 1/2 vanilla and 1/2 almond extract, or all almond extract, depending on your taste. To this, we are going to crack 2 eggs. No particular need for them to be cold or room temperature. It's completely up to you, although if they are room temperature, they will combine a little bit easier. You'll see. And yes, we're using the whole eggs here. Go ahead and grate those. Excellent. Set that aside for right now. I have 1 3/4 cups of white flour. This is a second thing you could change. So if you want gluten-free, you could make this recipe gluten-free using 2 to 1 gluten-free alternative flour. You could also use a combination of other flours. If you want to add a little bit of zing, you could add wheat flour, 1/2 and 1/2 with white flour. You could also add alternative flours such as chickpea flour, tapioca flour. Get creative. Now to this, we are adding just a teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. If you're using regular table salt, you are going to want to increase that just a little bit to maybe 3/4 of a tablespoon. And we just sifted those together, pretty much all we do. This is how easy this stuff is, guys, and you didn't even know it. Now to this, we are going to slowly add our flour, so a little bit at a time. So let's add about that amount to get started. So at this point, you're probably asking me, Rochelle, do we have to do this by hand? Of course not. If you want to use a stand mixer or a hand mixer, you could absolutely do that as well. Biscotti is a denser bread, and so you'll see as we go how it's getting thicker and thicker. We are now going to switch from our whisk to our spatula because it is now too thick. Our oven is preheating to only 300 degrees. So some other substitutes besides the different kinds of nuts. So we are making it with pistachios. You do not have to chop them. You want whole nuts here. So whatever kind of nut you're using, you do not want chopped, preferably. In a pinch, you could do that. Okay, you could see that our flour is now all combined. The next step is to add the regular ingredients. So you could make it as is, not add anything. You could now add just almonds if you would like that. We are doing pistachios, and I have 1.5 cups of whole pistachios. So let's get those incorporated. And we are also adding 1.5 cups to 1 cup of dried cranberries. If you had fresh cranberries, you could use fresh. Please make sure that you chop them up. They would need to be chopped. Okay. All right, so we have gotten our ingredients we decided to add into ours combined. So the next step is to make them into a couple of loaves. And we are going to be putting these onto a pan. Now, if your dough is too sticky, you can spray your hands with some cooking spray to make it so they don't stick. I'll show you what I mean. The other alternative to make your dough not stick to your hands would be to flour them. So you're simply going to spray some cooking spray. And you're going to eyeball it, or if you want to be anal, you can weigh it. And we are going to break this into 2 loaves. So just figure about half. And you can see it's not sticking really, except for right there where I didn't spray it. You want to make like a log. And you want the log to be about 2 inches wide. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get this other guy done. And you want the 2 loaves that you make to be the same thickness approximately, so they will cook at about the same time. That's the only thing to determine what shape you make. That looks pretty good, and believe it or not, that is it, guys. So we're going to pop these into the oven, 300 degrees for a half an hour, and I'll see you back. All right, so it's been a half an hour. Let's get our biscotti out of the oven. All right, excellent. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this cool for about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, no more. You don't want it completely cooled. You just want it cooled enough that we can hold it and touch it to cut it. We are also going to reduce our oven from 300 to 275 degrees, and that'll give the oven 10 minutes to cool off as well. So go ahead and make that adjustment and let these sit for a minute, and I'll see you right back here in a minute. All right, so our biscotti has been cooling for about 8 minutes right now. So the next step is to slice it. So you are going to want to slice it diagonally. That's how you always see it presented. It just makes it look prettier. So take your loaf, and the first piece on the end you're going to want to cut like so. That little tidbit you're going to get to eat yourself. In fact, I'm going to just cut the very end off so that it sits flat. Okay, now from here, you want to make them about just shy of an inch wide. But again, this is a personal taste, like so. You're going to lay them flat. And this is what we're going to do for our second bake. And again, you want to get them as even as you can in size so that they are going to cook at the same time. Alternative fruit that you could use would be cherries. You could do dried apricots. You could do orange rind in the mix to add an orange flavor. All right, we're going to do our last loaf. And again, start at the end. Cut that little bit off. And then we're going to go ahead and slice diagonally. And now you see why we had whole nuts versus chopped nuts, because this way it makes a beautiful presentation when you see the nuts being cut in half like that. Okay, so these are going to go back into the oven. You're going to cook them at the 275 now for approximately 10 more minutes, maybe not quite. Check on them after 5 and see if they need a full 10 minutes. We want to get the insides dried out, and basically we're going to try to get this kind of coloring on the top. And if you have that, it's going to be browning on the bottom because we are cooking it on a flat mat. If you don't have a silicone mat, make sure you're cooking yours on parchment paper. I forgot to tell you that. Sorry about that. So these are going back in the oven, like I said, for another about 10 minutes. All right, time to dig into our wonderful biscotti. Then we chose to make pistachio cranberry here on ours today, but you choose whichever version you want out of the many options I gave you. You can dunk your biscotti in your coffee or tea if so desired, or just dig in. I know you guys can't smell that where you're at, but it smells and tastes divine, I must say. I am so excited to share this easy recipe with you so you can make fun snacks for yourself that are pretty healthy, by the way. And if you like this video, share it with a friend, family member, somebody at work. Just tell them to go to YouTube and Google What's Cookin' with Rochelle. Thank you so much for watching another one of my episodes, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you, thank you. Bye for now.